The former top lawyer in the Israeli military has been arrested as a political showdown deepens over the leaking of a video that allegedly shows severe abuse of a Palestinian detainee by Israeli soldiers. Major General Yafat Tomer Yerushalayim resigned as the Military Advocate General of the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, last week, saying that she took full responsibility for the leak. On Sunday, the story took a darker turn when she was reported as missing, with police mounting an hours-long search for her on a beach north of Tel Aviv. She was subsequently found alive and well, police said, but was then taken into custody. The fallout from the leaked video is intensifying by the day. Broadcast in August 2024 on an Israeli news channel, the footage shows reserve soldiers at the Sde Taimon military base in southern Israel taking aside a detainee, then surrounding him with riot shields to block visibility while he was allegedly beaten and stabbed in the rectum with a sharp object. The detainee was treated for severe injuries. 5 reservists were charged with aggravated abuse and causing serious bodily harm to the detainee. They have denied the charges and have not been named. On Sunday, 4 of the reservists wore black balaclavas to hide their faces as they appeared at a news conference outside the Supreme Court in Jerusalem, along with their lawyers who demanded the dismissal of their trial. Adi Kaider, a lawyer from the right-wing legal aid organization Honenu, claimed his clients were subject to, quote, a faulty, biased, and completely cooked-up legal process, unquote. On Monday, it emerged the detainee at the center of the case was released to Gaza in October as part of an exchange with Hamas of convicted prisoners and detainees held without charge by Israel for hostages held by Hamas since 7 October 2023. Last week, a criminal investigation was launched into the leaking of the video. General Tomer Yerushalayim was put on leave while the inquiry took place. On Friday, Defense Minister Israel Katz said she would not be allowed to return to her post. Shortly after that, General Tomer Yerushalayim resigned. In her resignation letter, she said she took full responsibility for any material that was released to the media from the unit. She said, quote, I approved the release of material to the media in an attempt to counter false propaganda against the Army's law enforcement authorities, unquote. That is a reference to efforts by some right-wing political figures in Israel to claim that the allegations of severe abuse of the Palestinian detainee had been fabricated. She added, quote, it is our duty to investigate whenever there is reasonable suspicion of acts of violence against the detainee, unquote. After her resignation, Katz issued a fierce condemnation of her conduct. He said, quote, anyone who spreads blood libels against IDF troops is unfit to wear the Army's uniform, unquote. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu echoed his defense minister's words on Sunday, saying that the incident at Sde Taimon was, quote, perhaps the most severe public relations attack that the State of Israel has experienced since its establishment, unquote. Hours later, the first reports began appearing in the Israeli media that General Tomer Yerushalayim was missing, sparking fears that a political scandal had taken a turn towards tragedy. A massive search effort was launched. Several hours later, she was found, quote, safe and in good health in the coastal area of Herzliya, Israeli police said, but was then taken into custody. Overnight, a police spokesperson announced that 2 people had been arrested on suspicion of, quote, leaking and other serious criminal offenses, unquote, as part of an investigation. Israeli media reported that the pair were General Tomer Yerushalayim and the former military prosecutor, Colonel Matan Salamash. The Sde Taimon incident has been a lightning rod for the division between the left and right in Israel. On the right, the leaking of a video is denounced as a defamation of the Israeli military, all but amounting to an act of treason. After Israeli military police went to Sde Taimon to question 11 reservists over the incident in July 2024, far-right protesters, including at least 3 lawmakers from Netanyahu's governing coalition, broke into the facility to show their support. On the left, General Tomer Yerushalayim's decision to enable the footage to be released is seen as the one time she lived up to the responsibilities of her post. The video is regarded by the left as concrete evidence backing up multiple reports of abuse of Palestinian detainees since the Hamas-led 7 October 2023 attacks on Israel. Last October, a report by a UN Commission of Inquiry alleged that thousands of child and adult detainees from Gaza had been subject to a widespread and systematic abuse, physical and psychological violence, and sexual and gender-based violence amounting to the war crime and crime of humanity of torture and the war crime of rape and other forms of sexual violence. Israel's government said it rejected the accusations of widespread ill treatment and torture of detainees and insisted that it was fully committed to international legal standards. It also said it had carried out thorough investigations into every complaint. Gaza doctors struggle to investigate signs of torture on unnamed dead returned by Israel. Blindfolded, bound, and beaten, Palestinians tell of Israeli jail abuse.